Who's the oldest fit person you know? I mean, I know a lot of old people who aren't fit and they tend to be, well, generally unhappy because the last 10 years of their life doesn't seem to be very enjoyable. My dad was a healthy, fit person until about 50 years old, and then it all went downhill from there. Today, we're going to be talking about how you become self motivated by seeing fit and healthy people around you who you might aspire to want to be like one day. Hi, my name is Dave and welcome to my channel, Resilient Strategies for Dad. On this channel, we try to inspire dads to build resilient strategies so they can enjoy more health and happiness in life. So if you haven't done so already, think about subscribing. We've got a great 30-day self-motivation challenge that we're going through right now. It talks about 30 different perspectives about how you can become self-motivated. Now, we're also going to be documenting this summer through a weekly video vlog my Ironman journey at 58 to do my next Ironman. So if any of that's of interest to you, if you're 58 years old or you're over 40 and looking for some inspiration, this video channel, this YouTube channel might be good for you. Coming up in this video, I want to talk about the importance of having really healthy, positive, fit role models in your life. Now, when I first started on my Ironman journey back when I was probably 42, 43 years old, I did not have any role models in my life that were fit and healthy as older individuals. Most of the people that I knew that were fit and healthy were in their 30s, maybe their 40s, but by the time they got to 50, most of them had sort of dropped off any kind of fitness level and they were just settling back, getting old. And the majority of them did not have a lot of fun things to say about growing old. I remember one day very specifically, my one grandfather who was super happy, super jolly, great guy, he pulled me over one day and said, "Dave, growing old is not going to be fun. Just letting you know." And it was the only serious thing he ever said to me in my life. But that was a role model, and that was the advice he was giving me. He was telling me that my life is going to suck for the last 10 years of my life because that was the experience that he had, and he didn't have any role models in his life that showed him that something else was possible. So when I started in my Ironman journey, one of the first people who I discovered was Lou Hollander. He was an 86-year-old Ironman triathlete, and it literally blew my mind that somebody was 86 years old, was out there competing on the same playing field with 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, and excelling at it, and going around the country and speaking to people about this way of living that was just so not common. And it just totally inspired me. Lou is one of those first sort of senior mentors that I've had in my life. Not that I've ever met him, but I've seen enough of his videos and I've learned enough about him and I've seen what he's done to understand that more is possible for my life, especially as I grow older. So having somebody like Lou in my life shows me that it's possible. Now, there's other 86-year-old Ironman triathletes out there. There's actually a Japanese Ironman triathlete who's trying to set the world record. Now, he's already the world record holder. He took that away from Lou at 86 years of age, and I think he's trying this year to become a 91-year-old Ironman finisher, which it's mind-blowing. But, having these role models in our life, seeing what's possible at least allows me to believe that that is still possible if I keep investing in myself. So it's really, really important for us to have these fit and healthy role models in our lives. So that brings me to my first point today. We want to be thinking about how a role model can build positive life habits. So we have lots of role models in our life, good and bad. And we are the some of the people we surround ourselves with. And if you don't have anybody in your life that is sort of an older person that you're sort of aspiring to say, geez, I wish I had a life like that. If you don't ever see that, you don't believe it's possible. You see a lot of people around you who struggle. You see a lot of people who grow old. Why do we grow old? Well, because we stop investing in ourselves. Really, that's all it is. Age is just a number. Your body is this amazing piece of equipment that if you continue to invest in it, it continues to pay you dividends. Yes, there are some extenuating circumstances that some people have that limit their ability to move, and that's a reality. But for able-bodied individuals who really have no other excuse other than haven't really done the work, maybe didn't think it was possible, maybe, you again, their role models in their life might all be like the role models that were in my life. You hit 50, you hit 60, and it's a downhill slope, slippery slope from that point. But as soon as I had that new role model in my life, well, that made all the difference. It told me that if I keep investing in myself, the way I eat, the way I sleep, the way I train, the way I think about food, right? One of the greatest things about me going on my next Ironman journey is it has inspired me to go back and look at how I was fueling my body. And it's not necessarily that I was eating poorly. Yes, I did make some poor food choices. And as soon as I've got sort of a goal in mind that I want to do a race, all of a sudden I think about all those extra 10 pounds that I'm carrying right here. I've got 20 pounds of visceral fat. And I'm going to be posting a video coming up very shortly in the next 2 weeks. And I went out and got another full body scan done. I had one done 8 years ago before I did an Ironman. In the event that I'm doing an Ironman this year, I had another body scan done. I am 20 pounds heavier. I can see where in my trunk I've got more fat and where in my arms and legs my muscle has turned to fat. So it was a big eye-opener for me. And you know what? Even though I invest in exercise every day, an hour a day, that's never stopped. It's how I'm exercising and how I'm fueling my body for exercise that may have gotten a little bit off track. And so that's what I'm going to be sharing in my upcoming vlogs. But again, it's important that you see other people out there who've done it before you. And when you see that, then you know it's possible. You just, success leaves clues. You've just got to pick your head up, see the clues, and ask yourself, how can this apply to what I want for my life? That brings me to point number 2, building confidence and creating aspiration. I aspire to be an Ironman triathlete into my 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm 58 now. I'm going to be racing. I'm in my 59th year as a racer. I aspire to continue to race into my 60s, into my 70s, and I'll let you know after that. Because these things aren't easy, and we don't know what's around the corner. All I can do is do the best that I can do today, feel really good about that, right? I feel happy in the joy I feel by striving for my full potential every day. But my full potential isn't just going through the motions. My full potential is sitting back and thinking about how I'm putting the pieces together. And then going and looking for examples of people who've walked 1,000 miles before me. Because if I look at what they did and I look what I'm doing, maybe I'm making some mistakes. I'm not 45 anymore, so I can't train like I was 45 anymore. I have to train smarter, and I have to allow this master's body to recover better so that I'll be prepared for my next workout. So again, really important for me. If I didn't see people that were doing exciting, healthy, fit things into their 80s and 90s, if I didn't see that, I wouldn't believe it's possible. So that's why it's really important, again, to have that positive. We all need positive, healthy, fit role models in our lives. That brings me to point number 3, just stability and wisdom. That's what a mentor does. That positive role model brings the idea that if I just sustain a certain amount of investment into me, into my health and happiness, if I sustain that over time, and that process will change over time as I grow older, but if I find that sustainability process that allows me to feel really good about myself, continue to learn about how, as I grow older, I need to adapt how I exercise, I need to adapt how I recover, I need to adapt how I eat, right? Things change. I can still enjoy the same sorts of things when it comes to diet. I can still enjoy the same types of exercise, but I just have to think about, as I grow older, how my body might recover differently. Right? That's important. That changes your process. That's all about, if you think back to my VIP process, right? I got a vision. I see something that I aspire that I can do. I have to go out and assume the identity. But sometimes the proof says that the identity that I'm following, that process, is broken. And I will tell you, the process for finishing an Ironman competitively at 45 is much different than finishing an Ironman at 59 and doing that in a competitive way as well. There's a lot to be said about nutrition and recovery that, has changed my process. Pay attention. So it's the wisdom that you get with age. I've made reference, there's a lot of, if you look on YouTube and you search, I did my first Ironman, you're going to see a lot of people who are between the ages of, say, 30 and 40 who've done their first Ironman. And they're giving you the perspective of somebody who is 30 to 40 years old. That's awesome if that's where you are. But if you're a little bit older like me, and you're saying, geez, Dave, maybe I don't want to do an Ironman, but I need to believe that there are healthy, fit people out there and there's more possible. You can still follow the same wisdom and the same strategies for approaching life that an Ironman does. You just don't have to do the same things. Like swim, bike, and run, that makes my heart sing. I absolutely love being out there and doing this with young kids. Like when I say young kids, I'm talking people between 30 and 50 years old. I love it. I love being a leader in that community. There's a lot of wisdom there. There's a lot of experience there. There's great stories and great conversations to be had. But that's why there's a real importance in our life to have mentors who, for our kids. And I'll wrap it up with this. I've always said, your kids are watching you. They're going to grow up to be just like you. So be the leader, be the person you hope they will be. If you hope that they will be old, sick, and unhappy, lead a life that's old, sick, and unhappy. You're the biggest mentor in their life, right? My dad was trying to be a mentor, and he thought his process, his recipe for health and happiness, he thought he had it right. He didn't. And what that journey sent me on was a path to figure out how I cannot just repeat that process and just accept that that must be my fate too. The question was, how can I repeat that process but get it right, get it better, so that my kids and their friends can start seeing somebody in their community who has adapted very well to aging and maybe is aging better than their parents. And maybe that's somebody that they can aspire to and say, hey, Dave did that. Why can't I do that? Dave is sharing how he did that. All I got to do is pay attention. I said the other day, one of my neighbor's kids is doing an Ironman, and he's doing the same Ironman that I'm scheduled to do my half Ironman this summer up in Huntsville, Ironman Muskoka. Is still to be determined whether or not I get the subscriber volume I need, whether I'm going to do Ironman Cozumel this year. But the answer to the question today was, how do you become more self-motivated by having a positive mentor in your life? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. If you've got somebody in your life that is doing exceptional things, that can't help but inspire you. And, just don't be afraid. Reach out and ask questions, ask better questions to get better answers. On the thumbnail of this video, I posted a picture of myself, my son, and his best friend, Aaron. And that was us doing Ironman Muskoka together 2 years ago. And, we had a little chat group. We went through our whole training together. We shared the same training schedules. And we talked throughout about how we all struggled sort of in our own way to get through the workouts and get to where we needed to be. And on race day, it was one of the most amazing experiences. And it wasn't because I finished an Ironman. It was because I finished an Ironman with these two young guys. And now they did that because they saw me do that. They have nobody else in their life who was doing this. They didn't even know this was a thing until they met me. And that's the power of a positive mentor in somebody's life. It's just, if you have a dream, a vision, go and find somebody who's already walked a mile in your shoes. Try to understand the process they followed. Reach out to them if you can, if you want to, if you need to. You'd be surprised. Ask and you shall receive. But at the end of the day, I think YouTube is a great place for like-minded people to get together, share strategies, information, so that we can all just have healthy, happier lives together. So if all of this was, of value to you, please consider liking, subscribing, leave a comment below. If you've got a great mentor in your life, give them a shout out in the comments below. Tell me who they are. Tell me the story. Would love to learn about more very successful, healthy, happy people that are out there, because there's lots out there. We just don't know about them yet. And that's what YouTube is all about, is discovering and learning things about new people. Now, tomorrow we're going to be doing our video on debunking average thinking. And this one is kind of an interesting one as well, based on an experience I had when I was in the ER with a heart scare about 5 years ago. So that's coming up in our next video right here. And if you're checking along, and I hope you are, we are on day 24 of our 30-day self-motivation journey. And we've got what looks like about 6 more tips to go through to give you yet 6 different more perspectives on how you can enjoy more health and happiness in your life by becoming self-motivated. And welcome to the journey. If you've been following along, I'm so grateful that you're here. And if this is of value, please like, subscribe, share with me in the comments how you think I can make this better for you. Thanks. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week or in tomorrow's video. Bye for now.